But it's like people think I wear crazy glasses still, you know.
They're quite normal tonight.
Yeah, they are normal. I bought them in a proper store.
You look relatively normal. If you took away the silver
normal,
trousers, you'd be quite normal.
I do have a G-string on them.
Elton John is an English singer, songwriter, pianist and composer. He has sold more than 300 million records, making him one of the best-selling music artists. He has more than 50 top 40 hits in the UK singles chart and US Billboard Hot 100, including 7 number ones in the UK and 9 in the US, as well as 7 consecutive number 1 albums in the US. He has worked with lyricist Bernie Taupin since 1967. They've collaborated on more than 30 albums. His tribute single Candle in the Wind from 1997, rewritten in dedication to Diana, Princess of Wales, sold over 33 million copies worldwide and is the best-selling single in the history of the UK and US singles charts. He has also produced records and occasionally acted in films. John owned Watford Football Club from 1976 to 1987 and from 1997 to 2002. He is an honorary life president of the club.
I had a little peek at your rider, your list of demands for your dressing room.
Oh, really?
Which was fascinating. I have to say, apparently because it's winter, the temperature in your dressing room had to be 68 degrees Fahrenheit precisely.
His full name is Sir Elton Hercules John, also known as the Rocket Man, the Pinball Wizard, Reggie and Sharon. As of this production, he is 73 years old and was born on March 25th, 1947, in Pinner, Middlesex, England. He stands at 1.72 meters tall or 5 feet 8 inches. Elton John enjoys playing tennis. His favorite food is Indian food. Jim Reeves is his favorite singer. When he was young, his dad wanted him to be a banker. Elton John married German recording engineer Renate Bluell on February 14, 1984, in Darling Point. John had come out as bisexual in a 1976 interview with Rolling Stone, but after his divorce from Bluell in 1988, he told the magazine in 1992 that he was quite comfortable about being gay. In 1993, John began a relationship with David Furnish, a former advertising executive and now filmmaker originally from Toronto. On December 21, 2005, the day the Civil Partnership Act came into force, John and Furnish were among the first couples to form a civil partnership in the United Kingdom, which was held at Windsor Guildhall. After gay marriage became legal in the United Kingdom in March 2014, John and Furnish married in Windsor, Berkshire, on December 21, 2014, the 9th anniversary of their civil partnership. They have 2 sons. The elder, Zachary Jackson Levin Furnish John, was born to a surrogate mother on December 25, 2010, in California. The younger, Elijah Joseph Daniel Furnish John, was born on January 11, 2013, to the same woman. John also has 10 godchildren, including Sean Lennon, David and Victoria Beckham's sons Brooklyn and Romeo, Elizabeth Hurley's son Damien Hurley, and Seymour Stein's daughter.
I'm talking about the day you went to Versace and apparently spent over £250,000 in one spree.
I have no guilt, Piers. I earn the money, I pay my taxes, I've never lived anywhere else but Britain. I can do what if I want to buy.
That is true.
Elton John was born Reginald Dwight on March 25, 1947, in Middlesex, England. He began playing piano at the age of 3 on his grandmother's piano. He started formal lessons at age 7 and won a scholarship to London's Royal Academy of Music at 11. His father, a military man, tried unsuccessfully to steer him to a more traditional career in banking. His parents divorced when he was 14. His mother then married Fred Fairbrother, a local painter, who proved to be a caring and supportive stepfather. Elton, his mother and stepfather moved into an apartment where years later he would continue to live, even at a time when he had 4 top 40 albums in the United States. His stepfather helped a 15-year-old Reginald land a weekend gig playing piano. In 1966, he and his friends formed the band Bluesology. It was around this same time he took on the name Elton John. The name was a homage to blues legends Elton Dean and Long John Baldry. This is also when Elton began his long-standing collaboration with songwriter Bernie Taupin. Elton John released his first albums, Empty Sky and Elton John, in 1969 and 1970, respectively. He saw 7 consecutive albums top the charts between 1972 and 1975. He formed his own record label, the Rocket Record Company, in 1973, which released albums by Neil Sedaka. Interestingly, he opted not to release his own music on his own label and instead signed an $8 million deal with MCA. That's the same as around $40 million after adjusting for inflation. Elton released successful albums throughout the 1980s, and in 1992, he and Taupin signed a $39 million 12-year contract with Warner Brothers Records. It was the largest cash advance in music history up to that point. In 1994, he composed the music for the Disney animated movie The Lion King, which earned a Grammy Award for Best Song and was certified Diamond 1999 for selling 15 million copies. In 1997, in response to the death of Princess Diana of Wales, John re-released his 1973 classic, Candle in the Wind. This 1997 version became the best-selling single in recording history and earned John his only Grammy for Best Male Pop Recording. Elton John continues to tour, compose for the stage, and release best-selling albums. Elton John is perennially one of the highest-paid entertainers on the planet. Between June 2017 and June 2018, John earned $45 million. Between 2011 and 2018, Elton held a Las Vegas residency called the $1 Million Piano. He negotiated a deal where he would receive 88% of the door revenues for every show. This translated to around $500,000 in earnings per show for Elton. Elton John's net worth was $100 million in the year 2000. At this time in his life, he was well known as a profligate spender. He would later admit to spending $2 million a month during the late 90s, roughly $40 million total over the period. For example, in one 6-month period alone in 1996, he spent more than $12 million on homes, $500,000 on flowers, and he acquired a museum-level collection of cars. In June 2001, he sold 20 cars that he had never even driven. His sales included a $300,000 1993 Jaguar, Ferraris, Bentleys, and Rolls-Royces. By 2009, his personal fortune stood at $265 million. His net worth raised to $300 million in 2013, and by 2019, the value of his assets had grown to a point where he was worth a full $500 million. Elton John's primary home for many years had been a large estate called Woodside in Old Windsor, Berkshire, England. Woodside is a 37-acre estate that dates back to the 1750s. He acquired the property in 1974 for £400,000, roughly the same as around $5 million today after inflation and currency changes. As we mentioned previously, up to that point he was still living primarily with his mother and stepfather in their small apartment. In 1988, he sold the entire contents of the house for $8 million at auction. He then set about refurbishing and refurnishing the entire property. Elton John also owns homes in Atlanta, Los Angeles, Nice, London, and Venice. He acquired his Beverly Hills estate for $33 million in October 2015. The home is a nearly 20-acre gated property that was custom built in 2001 for the previous owner, Guess co-founder Armand Marciano. Before Elton bought the property, it was one point on the market for $63 million. The main house is 25,000 square feet and comes with an 11-car subterranean garage, screening room, wine cellar, gym, and much more. So let's take a look at the cars that Elton John has in his huge garage. A 1956 Bentley S1 Continental Sport Saloon. A 1997 Aston Martin V8 Vantage V550. A 2005 Maserati Quattroporte V. A 1985 Bentley Continental Convertible Nikita. A 1960 Bentley S2 Continental Flying Spur. A 1963 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3. A 1965 Jaguar E-Type 4.2 Roadster. A 1973 Rolls-Royce Phantom 6 Limousine by H.J. Mulliner. A 1975 Bentley Corniche Convertible. A 1978 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. A 1964 Bentley S3 Continental Convertible. A 1985 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. A 1986 Ferrari 412 Coupe. A 1987 Aston Martin V8 Vantage Volante. a 1987 Ferrari Testarossa, a 1992 Ferrari 512 TR,